Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome to the TMZ Podcast. Harvey Levin here.
Courtney here.
And Jason.
Wow, this Brett Favre story is just unbelievable. He's in trouble. One of the people involved in this alleged enormous welfare scam in Mississippi, the biggest welfare scam apparently in the history of the state. One of the guys has now pleaded guilty. And it sounds like this is a plea in return for cooperation. There is a clear connection here with Brett Favre, and he seems to be in the crosshairs now of the feds.
Yeah, this guy, John Davis, former government official within the state of Mississippi, alleged to have engaged in a $70 million welfare fraud. He pleaded guilty. Brett Favre is directly implicated in this fraud. You know, obviously, all-time Hall of Fame quarterback for the Green Bay Packers from Mississippi, and he is alleged to have had diverted to him.
And then we should talk about these are funds that were designed for poor people, I believe, especially needy children.
Right.
Yes.
So there were federal funds given by the feds to the state of Mississippi to help needy children, indigent children. Instead of going to indigent children, Brett Favre used his connections that he has made as being a very famous Mississippian to have those funds directed to him, part of them into his pocket, some of those funds to a volleyball gym at his daughter's University of Mississippi.
$5 million.
Yes.
$5 million that was, again, earmarked by the Fed specifically for the purpose of helping poor kids. And instead, they went to a fancy volleyball gym and into some of it. So Brett Favre would also secure lucrative speaking gigs and get paid tens of thousands of dollars by the state. These were the same funds. They were funded by the feds for this welfare program. He's in big hot water.
And the smoking gun here is he sent a text.
Oh
my
Why?
God. Sends a text to one of the people in the middle of all of this saying, could the media find out where we got the money from?
Yep.
Yeah, where I got the money from. And the person texts back, I don't think so. And then immediately says, oh my God, I just spoke to the governor and he said he said it's fine.
Right.
Yes.
Nobody's going to know. And Favre is great.
And Favre says that's
It was
exactly what I
terrible.
needed to hear in order to accept this money from you. That
Yes.
the governor's on board.
I mean, that's as close to
Like, what was he thinking? Like, I don't, like, we've kind of like seen this before with, who was the girl from Full House? Who did
Lori
USC?
Loughlin.
Yes, like Lori Loughlin. Like, we've seen it. Celebrities get caught when you like take the money from this. So that like
Well,
wasn't like a red
no, that
flag.
was different.
It was, but like you're still like taking money. You're still like, like you know what I mean?
But
you're
you have
gonna
to
get caught.
But in both cases, you understand the motivation. Lori Loughlin's, it was to get her daughter into a college she couldn't otherwise get
But
into.
you're still taking money from like you know what I mean? For, like,
And in this case, it's about money, right? I mean, Brett Favre retired 5 years, 10 years before the $40 million quarterback contracts came up. He wasn't earning. He's earned great
he
money.
has Wrangler though. He has like still sponsors.
He's got some sponsorships, but nobody's got enough money, right? And he wanted more.
This is this is really shocking. I mean, what's shocking about it isn't even so much that funds got diverted. It's the brazen way this whole thing happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost like he doesn't really think that he did anything wrong.
Well, it's
No.
almost like
To put
they've
in a
gone
text
so
like
far
that?
down the path.
Yeah.
Of what else has happened? I mean, you know what I mean?
You're right.
It's like if they can be this brazen, you don't start out this way.
Right.
You just don't start out, texting people saying, "Hey, do you think the media is going to find out about this one?"
Yeah, and this is what Courtney's bristling about, and I get it. Like, if you're putting this in writing and you're specifically stating in writing what you are doing, it means you don't think there's anything wrong. You think
No.
you are above the law.
No,
You
I think that's
the rules-
wrong. I think that's wrong. He
What?
knows something is wrong because that's why he asked, is the media going to find out where I got the money from? He knows it's wrong.
Yeah.
He just
But
he
doesn't-
wants to know he can get away with
But
it.
the hubris of putting that in writing
Exactly.
is incredible.
That's
but like, what happens to the governor? Because
well, you're right.
He's a former
Because-
governor, but yeah.
like-
just to be clear, he is the former governor of
Okay.
Mississippi, not the current governor. But look,
It
politicians.
sounds. I mean, from the text,
sounds-
it doesn't sound good for the former governor
doesn't.
either.
no,
It
because
doesn't.
like how far? I don't know. The whole thing's just messy.
It's gross.
Okay, let's talk. Let's talk about the Celtics because this is interesting.
I don't. So Ime Udoka, the coach of the Boston Celtics, incredibly successful first-year coach, brought them all the way to the NBA Finals. has been suspended after it came out that he had an affair with a subordinate. We don't know exactly whom, but somebody within the Celtics organization he had an affair with. He was not married, to the extent it matters. He was not married,
but
he had a girlfriend.
Who
Nia
is
Long.
Nia Long, not just any girlfriend.
No,
but
stunning.
I don't think he was suspended because his girlfriend is famous. I think he's suspended
I don't know,
because he
helps.
was sleeping with a subordinate.
And the NBA has had huge issues with that recently.
But the Celtics said it was a violation of team policy, not NBA policy, but team policy. But a 1-year suspension with, by the way, and I heard on TV this morning, no guarantee that after that 1 year he gets his job back.
Right.
It's a 1-year suspension. After that, we'll see. It's remarkable to me they gave him a 1-year suspension for this infraction.
And this is amazing. We just put this up on the website. We found out that she moved her kid and herself 2 weeks ago to Boston to be with him and only learned about this 2 days ago. And apparently because he knew this was coming out and he knew the team knew since July.
And he knew the team
And
knew
he
since
knew the team knew since July.
That-
Didn't tell her. She moved out, and she found out 2 days ago.
That's unforgivable to not tell
Yeah.
her. And for, like, what? I don't understand. Did he think that this was never going to come out? What was what was his angle on this to not tell her?
You have to think that the fact that he moved her out here, and they were house hunting, right? That
Yeah,
they were
house hunting,
reporting,
yeah.
They were house hunting together. He had to think that he had kept this thing under wraps and that she wouldn't find out. Otherwise, he's got to come
But
out.
he didn't know, like, he didn't think that he was going to get in trouble
can't
at
explain
all,
it.
like, with
I
his
can't
team. I
explain
don't understand. What are these guys thinking? First you got Brett Favre, now you got this guy. I don't understand. They're going to get caught. It's going to come out.
This is so disappointing. Ime Udoka is not only a great basketball coach, he's one of the smartest, most thoughtful, intellectual people in the entire NBA. And I mean, obviously, intellectual, smart people cheat on their significant others all the time. I'm just more disappointed than I would be with a Brett Favre character or something.
Brett Favre character.
Let's face it.
I cannot believe that she moved her and her kid out there and then she found out.
What do you
That
think about
is-
this 1 year? It's such a long suspension for
It is
a
long.
personal infraction. I got it. It's a big thing. I'm not justifying his actions at all, but a 1-year professional suspension.
I'm really surprised too.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised too.
Well, they're using him, the face, as like they're
Yeah,
punishing
I
him.
guess
like,
that's
they have
right.
to.
Yeah, I
Like
guess
they've
that's
had
right.
so many issues, they have to do something.
You know what I think's going on? Because I agree with you. The 1 year thing seemed crazy to me. You know what I think this is a reaction to? I think it's a reaction to Adam Silver taking a lot of heat because the suspension that he had initially given recently, everybody said was not.
Robert Sarver, the owner of the Suns.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And I think these teams just don't want to get dragged, so they figure, well, if you make it really long,
Right,
nobody's
right.
going to complain.
Right.
And honestly, I think that's they're all scared.
Yeah. I mean, Ime Udoka, for his part, came out and he said he totally understands the suspension. He will abide by it. He apologized to players, fans, entire Celtics organization, and his family for letting it down. He frankly owes an apology to his family only.
Yeah.
And maybe the organization. I don't
and
know.
probably back in July.
Okay, so Courtney's super upset, so we're going to change the mood. You do Taylor Swift.
I am so excited about this.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet, but if you can manifest it, you can make it happen.
Oh, God.
So we are all thinking, Swifties, I'm putting you guys in it because you guys will become one, that she will be performing at the Super Bowl. And there are
Explain.
many reasons why. So Taylor Swift, she always is about all these clues, all these clues. She has a music album coming out called Midnight, October 21st. And all of her releases have been at midnight. Whenever she's had something, she drops the news at midnight. The NFL recently made a huge announcement at midnight. Gentlemen, evidence 1.
Okay, wait a minute.
Evidence 2.
What's so
I know.
I'm here with evidence.
It's hysterical.
Because when do people normally make announcements at midnight? You don't, because there's not a lot
But
of
how are you
traffic
tying it
then.
to the Super Bowl? I got announcements, but okay.
Okay,
Just
well,
wait, sir.
we
Just
publish
wait.
some of our stories at midnight for the next day.
Yeah,
And they're
And
huge.
Taylor Swift is not coming into the office to perform.
you don't know that yet. Hey, we still have the Christmas party to look forward to.
Fair.
Anyways, so the Super Bowl used to be sponsored by Pepsi. Taylor Swift, huge Coke person, sponsored by Coke. Can't do the Super Bowl. What's happening this Super Bowl? Apple Music, ladies and gentlemen. Apple Music. Taylor Swift, come on down and perform at the Super Bowl.
I mean, there
It's
is
gonna happen.
there is smoke.
And when there's smoke, there's Taylor Swift, and there's happy Swifters behind it.
I will say there is smoke to this, and she'd be
She'd be fantastic.
Yeah, no, and I think she draws people into the
agree.
game that
1,000%.
wouldn't ordinarily watch
She's one of the 5 biggest stars in
If
the world.
you
She's
don't
clearly-
think that she would sing Tim McGraw and he would come out on stage with her, Are you
I
kidding me?
didn't think that.
Oh, I
but
got
now I
goosebumps
guess I
just
will.
thinking about it. Like, it will happen.
It's interesting because she has big shoes to fill. Last year's Super Bowl halftime show was probably the greatest ever, right? The 5 legendary LA hip-hop artists
yes.
came out and sang together. Is just Taylor Swift coming out kind of holding that mantle? She needs to have an ensemble of other superstars.
There's one other thing. There's one other thing that I wondered about. When you do the Super Bowl, it's such a huge venue. I mean, I personally, I know I give you grief on this, but
Yes.
I really like her music.
Okay, yeah.
I really do.
She's
I
great.
really,
Great
really,
songwriter,
I
for sure.
really
There's a
like.
butt coming.
I've liked her music from the beginning. What I'm wondering is that music the vibe that just penetrates the stadium?
It's an interesting question.
Shake It Off.
No, I know, and Shake It Off might. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But there are other ones, Romeo and Juliet. You know, there are other
Well,
ones.
she's not going to sing that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it the same? I mean, when you look at what happened, in the last Super Bowl game, I mean, it was loud, body. It
Yes.
it just resonated through the stadium.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like for example, I don't think Adele could do the Super Bowl.
Well, no, she's
Okay.
sad.
Right.
Like her music.
But,
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy.
So now it's on a continuum. Where is Taylor Swift on the continuum, and is she in that zone of where it works in a stadium like that? I don't know the answer.
She's upbeat pop. I think she can do it, right?
Yes, she sold out the Staples Center.
No,
5
she
nights.
can do it. I'm just wondering, does
No,
it
I think
work
she
as
can get the energy up?
Yes.
I do. I mean, Bruno Mars was a famously great halftime show. He's high energy. She has a part of her catalog can get there. I think she's no Snoop, but she can do it.
and she'll draw an audience. And I mean,
Where is this Super Bowl? Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter where it is.
I don't know.
Well,
It's
I
gonna
thought if it was in
happen.
Memphis, it would be really cool. You know.
Well, that's true.
Well, there would have to be a football team in Memphis.
There
Oh,
is.
the-
Tennessee Titans.
yeah, that's not Memphis though. That's Nashville.
Wow, Courtney.
Just wanted to
that true?
say. Yeah.
Wow, Jason. Ooh, I like that.
How embarrassing
Okay,
for
we're-
you.
That is embarrassing.
We are gonna. Why is that embarrassing? Because why?
Because he was thinking.
No,
the
hold on. Let Jason answer.
I'm a guy, and I should know these things.
Okay, Mar-a-Lago. Look, I don't care what party you're affiliated with. I don't care if you support Donald Trump. I don't. But I'll listen to somebody, who might have a different view because I just don't.
You are very fair in that way, I will say. Yes.
But nobody can legitimately say that what Donald Trump said is both laughable and dangerous when he said you can just think that something is declassified, and it is. It is the most absurd thing that may have ever come out of his mouth.
Which is saying something.
Which is saying something.
Yeah, it is absurd. He said that, when they were challenging him he was on Sean Hannity's show, they were challenging Hannity was asking him about whether he lawfully had those documents in his home in Mar-a-Lago. He said he did because he had declassified them. And in response to sort of how did you declassify them, he goes, presidents don't need a process. You can have one if you want, but presidents can just declare something declassified. As a matter of fact, you can just think that it's declassified, and it is.
Do we need to even discuss how stupid that is, how anti-democratic it is?
And how
is there a need to
dangerous.
even discuss it?
How
No.
dangerous. He's basically saying that, and these, by the way, there are reports.
He wants to rule the country like a dictator.
There are reports.
I mean, I'm sorry for saying that, but that's just true.
If I do it, it's legal. That's
Right.
what he's saying. No matter what I
Right.
do, it's totally
fine.
legal.
Which
Yeah.
is what
I have the power to
dictators-
do anything
Right.
I want.
Which is what dictators do.
Right. There were reports, and they have not been verified yet, that there were actually documents about the U.S. nuclear program in his safe at Mar-a-Lago. If that's the case, and he declares that he can unilaterally declassify nuclear secrets of the United States,
terrifying.
imagine the precedent that sets. Any president could use those, could sell those, could give those away without sanction. There's no legal. He could do it at any time he wants.
If I were
absurd.
if I were a special master hearing this case, I'd just look at them, look at the lawyers, and just say, okay, whatever. I'll accept what you say. As absurd as it is, I'll accept it. Here's the thing. Because you declassify it doesn't make it yours.
Right.
It's
No.
still the government's.
Right.
So give it back and you're in trouble.
Right.
I mean, it's such an absurd point. Why even argue it and just say, even if you were right, as insane as that is, because you're not right, but let's assume you are, So what? It's still the government's property, and that's what this is all about.
Right.
And you're trying to come up with these straw men that are ridiculous. But, you know, the fact that Donald Trump's mindset is that you can just will something because you're president is so dangerous.
And by the way,
he still agrees with it.
Yeah,
I feel
that would only apply to him, right? He would never give the same credibility to Barack
if Obama did, no
he would
way.
call
Well, look at what he did to Hillary Clinton.
She wasn't president.
Even just
but,
with
Well, no.
emails.
But I mean, but she was Secretary of State, and
Yes.
so she was in a government position.
Yes.
There were 30,000 emails.
And
She shouldn't have had it on her personal computer. And he went, lock her up.
And by the way,
and look at what he's done.
And by the way, what she did was awful with those emails. I'm not saying she should have been incarcerated, but it was awful. They were right to criticize her for her actions in that respect. But the idea that he did something 50 times as egregious with nuclear secrets,
1,000 times,
and he thinks he's completely vindicated or allowed
and
to do
sees
it.
nothing wrong with it. It was like,
sees
wait,
nothing
what?
wrong
Like,
with it.
I don't
Hillary
understand.
Clinton used the wrong platform to do what she did. He has stolen documents.
Yes.
I mean, top secret documents.
And it's trying to justify it.
That were in unlocked areas within Mar-a-Lago with custodial
Like,
staff.
how many
and
people
everybody
saw
else.
them?
Yep.
And then the question, why? What did he want with these?
Yes. And-
What did he want with these documents?
And his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, who has his own problems, but he said something really interesting. He said everything Donald Trump does is transactional. He doesn't do anything for posterity. He doesn't do anything for sentimental value. It's transactional. If he had those documents, he wanted to do something with them. Now, it may have been to keep them out. Maybe there were secrets about him that he didn't want disclosed, but there was a reason he did it, and it wasn't just so he could have something. He either wanted to transact them or keep them from the public eye for some reason.
But like, you don't think anyone made copies of like them or like took photos of them, like the documents that were just like in the space? Like, there's so many possibilities.
The top secret documents are you have to look at them in a certain.
She's saying at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, at Mar-a-Lago.
at Mar-a-Lago.
Like, there were so many people just going in and out. You don't think anyone like took a photo?
Well, some of these
did
were in the
anything?
basement where
That's
they
what
apparently
I'm
have
saying.
badminton equipment.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, who knows? Like, how many people took photos of them, made copies of it? Like, they've been there for how long?
A year and a half, almost.
Yes,
Well,
like,
going on
that's-
2 years.
Yeah.
It's really shocking. And I guess the point here is that when you support somebody, do you do it blindly where you are just behind them no matter what? No matter what.
I mean, you should have, but some people do.
But I mean, that's kind of where we are right now. It's like it almost doesn't matter, and it should. I mean, at some point, people should look and say, I can't just constantly say, I'm behind somebody, I'm behind somebody, I'm behind somebody, with something that's so obvious like this. I mean, again, if whoever is listening, if a Democrat, say Obama, had done this, how would you react? And if the answer is you'd be outraged, what's the difference?
Yeah.
I mean, people just need to think about that. That if it's, and on both sides, really, on both sides.
Yep.
There was it's interesting. On the other side of all of this, there was a horrible incident in Las Vegas where a reporter was murdered by a city official there that the reporter was investigating. And the city official is now charged with murder. And a lot of people in the media, they just kind of skated over what affiliation he had. If it were a Trump guy, they would have said it's a Trump.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Again, it should be equal.
And if Donald Trump,
and I think so on both sides, we should have equivalency. And, that maybe they should have said it there. If they would have said he's a Trump guy, they should have said he's a Democrat. With this case with the papers, if people would be angry at Obama doing it, they should be outraged at Trump.
The biggest example,
whether you support him or not.
If Donald Trump would have had sex with a White House intern and lied about it under oath,
oh my God,
Democrats would be calling for his incarceration. But nevertheless, most Democrats still support Bill Clinton and think that, well, he did it, but it was a personal indiscretion.
Wait a minute. Are we actually wasting our time talking about hypocrisy in politics?
Yes,
I know.
we are.
Let's move on. Elon Musk. Guys, look, I know that there are a lot of people who don't like Elon Musk. I think this is awesome. I mean, this to me shows the brilliance of Elon Musk. Okay, well, then you start on the negative and we'll change.
He made this comment about patents that I just
Which is?
Well, he was on Jay Leno's
garage.
Yeah, Jay Leno's garage, and Elon Musk was a guest, and they were walking around his space facility
the SpaceX
in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so Jay's just talking when they're talking about patents, and Elon's like, we don't do patents. Patents are for losers, basically the weak.
Patents are for the weak.
Yes.
Which is like saying patents are for losers.
Yeah, and he was like, they don't do anything. Like, he was like, you don't need them.
No. He didn't say they don't do anything.
He kind of did.
No, he didn't.
It stops the creative process.
It stops the creative. It's the opposite. He said, I believe that it should be open so people can make things better and better and better because he believes he can always stay ahead of them,
Yeah,
even
so-
if they try.
And
and
is
everybody,
that not the most attractive thing
No,
ever?
oh,
It's
kind
so
of-
attractive.
I mean,
So-
it is.
Wait,
So
what?
just so everybody knows, patents are the way you protect the
a creation,
scheme of an
invention.
invention, right? So, but there are many people in their garages that toil their whole lives to develop a patent, and when they get it, if they don't register that patent and they just put it out there, somebody else can come along and just simply use that product, depriving them of any value for that product at all.
Someone like Elon.
Okay.
Well, but Elon, and I take nothing away from him, through his brilliance, he's able to make a million things better. Electric cars have come light years ahead because of him. But that doesn't change the fact there are people toiling away their whole lives to get that one patent. They finally can cash in on it. Well, Elon Musk is like, you shouldn't be able to cash in on that. I should be able to take because I'm smarter than that.
He didn't say you shouldn't be able to. He just said they're for the weak. He's essentially saying, not for me.
Yeah.
But he's not saying nobody should get it.
He wants to be able to go and take other people's inventions and use them for himself because he can do it better.
I think it's the opposite. I think he's saying that if I create something, I'm not going to own it so nobody can catch up to me. Nobody can use it. Let them all use it.
And that works for Elon Musk, but it doesn't work for everybody.
I know, but he's talking about himself. He's not saying you shouldn't have a patent. He's saying, look, the way I view the world, the weak, and I understand your point, but he's saying if people who get patents are people who can't really excel beyond what they've already done.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's saying.
They can't bring it to market. They can't do all those other things.
And I don't want to
Right.
stifle creativity. So whatever I create, you guys can catch up with because I'm going to be ahead of you in the next step.
But if I'm an inventor and I invent something that's battery technology, and I say to Elon Musk, I want you to pay me for this. I want you to pay me $100 million because I've invented this incredible battery technology. Elon Musk's point is, I shouldn't have to pay you for it. I should be able to use that and make my cars
But I don't
better.
think I hear you, but I don't think he's talking in terms of I want to take other people's stuff. He's saying, look, I'm already, excelling. I have taken rocket ships and make them better. I have taken electric cars and made them better. I'm working on tunnels. I'm working on Neuralink. I'm working on new things. I don't care about it. He's saying it's not that he's stealing from others and wants to.
Yeah.
He's just saying let them come out.
It's easy not to care about it when you're worth $200 billion.
Well, no, it's easy not to care about it when you're that creative and you
maybe-
really
maybe.
believe in yourself.
Maybe.
I think it's both.
And by the way, just one other thing. There was I can't remember what publication came out with this saying there's no such thing as a self-made billionaire. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is a self-made. I read a
Well, his mom was an actress, and she. What?
I read a book on Elon Musk, and it's really an amazing story that when he came from South Africa to Canada, he had nothing. He didn't know what he was going to do. He had to search for a farm where a distant cousin lived, and he was shoveling, I forgot what, but literally shoveling. He came with like $20. Elon Musk is a self-made billionaire.
He is. I don't want to take anything away from what Elon Musk has done. I just think it's easy to say things when you're worth $200 billion that you wouldn't. I'm sure he felt that if he invented something initially, I'm sure he wouldn't have felt that way.
If you can't, I want to listen to somebody who went from literally nothing to where he is.
Yeah.
Somebody who almost went bankrupt in the middle of it all because he believed in himself. I want to hear his story. I want to know his take. I mean, I don't want to dismiss him because he's that successful. I mean, at a point, what you're saying is, I'll listen to people when they're successful up to a point and then shut up.
No, I want to listen to him. But that doesn't mean I have to agree with him.
You don't have to agree with him.
I listen. I pay homage to Elon Musk. What he's done is incredible. I own his car, right? He's incredible.
Why do people hate him so
humble
much?
brag. I have a Tesla.
My wife does. I wouldn't drive one.
Why do people hate him so much?
He's hateable.
Why?
Because he's an arrogant prick.
I don't hate him. I like him.
I mean,
He gave me. I would.
he's eccentric, but I mean,
Well, he
Because
lives. This thing we did with
it's
Twitter
just
was
like
pretty
why
awful.
people don't like Jeff Bezos. Like when you're that rich, you're
No,
gonna be
that's not.
hated
That's not
on.
fair. That
Why?
stuff he did with Twitter, where he entered into a contract and 2 days later said, "You know what? I don't really want to."
Well,
be in
but
this
he's
contract."
also saying, I know.
But he made all that stuff up. That's all that stuff about bots and stuff. He made it up. He knew about it. He said he wanted to buy Twitter because there were too many bots. And then he buys it and he says, there's too many bots. I don't want to buy it anymore.
Well, we should all just manifest Taylor Swift performing at the Super
Here's
Bowl.
the thing. It's just really hot in here, so let's just call it.
All right.
Okay, we'll see you Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye.